Is my screen visible? Okay, okay. So this is not for you to reply. This is just for you to introspect. Okay, a little bit introspection is required. That why mechatronics is required and why it is important for this particular stage of engineering. So we all know that you just ask yourself a question that what is the big fish for core engineering? That if you are a engineer in core engineering branch, irrespective of whether it is mechanical or electrical or electronics, what is the biggest fish which involve a very huge amount of core engineers? So the answer for this question is manufacturing sector, right? Am I correct? You can please unmute yourself if you have any doubt or if you have any query. Okay. Uh, Someone I think has just entered. Yeah. So Shubham it was. Okay. So what is the big fish? It is manufacturing sector. Just ask yourself these questions and you will get to an answer. Then what is common in all manufacturing industries? Okay. So you just ask yourself question, what is common in all manufacturing industries? If you're not getting any answer, I will continue with this particular video and I will, after that, I will just have a questionnaire in the chat box. Just look at this video and ask yourself that what is common in all manufacturing industries. This is an example of, you can say, Pfizer, right? Which has provided us the first vaccination of coronavirus. That is a pharmaceutical company. And this is an example of a pharmaceutical company, a very basic example of pharmaceutical company where you have bottles which are Hmm, just a minute. There was some issue. Yes. Yeah. There are bottles which have auto diversion device where you can see, uh, you just have to see that this is a basic, all the production line work in this particular manner, but what is a common thing that is been there in all industries, whether it is automobile, whether it is pharmaceutical, whether it is chemical plant, whether it is, you can say, refrigeration plant. Okay, just look at this video and just introspect that it is precise rotation controlled by some system, how, what kind of process it is. Okay, this is a 20 air washing system where the bottles are being washed, or you can say scavenging has been done by air. Okay, scavenging means cleaning. Then dual line filling machine. Okay, just have a look and I will ask few questions related to this video. Just have a glimpse of this video, uh, and I will ask questions related to it. And trust me, these kind of questions are required to be answered. Okay, the type of questions that I'm going to ask are answered. That how you will do that, how you will do that. So this is volume tweak percentage of 0.2. just have a brief look about this process, and I'll ask questions related to this process only. This is the can feeder. You can say that it is the can say top of the can, which will be fitted to the bottles. So this is a cap filling. It is, you can see that a rotary capping machine is there, which caps the can. And those questions will be very relevant. Don't take them otherwise, because these kind of questions are expected to be answered by a industry person, and for those who are looking for a part in industry. So the answer to my previous question was that what is common in all manufacturing industry. So the answer that you have seen in this is a continuous production line. Now, I just want to ask few questions. Yes. Let me stop presenting this, or just answer me a question that what kind of questions are you going to answer when you are a GET or you are a AM in a process line. The line was continuous. Okay, the line was continuous. What kind of questions or what kind of key responsibility area will you have when you will be into industries, when you will give your first you will be putting your first step in industries? What are you going to deal with? This is a continuous production line. Any kind of answer will work, and all of you are requested to answer this question. Just ask yourself and answer it. What kind of question will be asked? You are definitely going to get selected into a very good multinational company. You will be there as a GET, which is graduate engineer training. And when you are in a process line, what kind of question are you going to get? It will contain robot also. If it is a continuous line, there will be a robot. What kind of question will be asked? Okay, let me again repeat that question. How the process was working, and what will be your key? I will just write the question. Key responsibility area. When you go into industries, let me tell you, what will you do if some failures occurs? Very good, Ritik. Shubham also very good. How the process was working. What will be your key responsibility area? Okay, so when you step into any industry, you will have some key responsibility areas that would be predefined. Okay, so what will be your key responsibility area? I need answer from everyone, and I need answer from Abhay, Adarsh, Alok, Ankush, Aparajita, Bhanu, Hitender, Hitesh, Kalpana, Khushbu. Safety parameters, very good. How will you ensure the current efficiency? Yes. Improve the current efficiency? Yes, very good. I have not received any answer from Hitender, Adarsh, Hitesh. Any answer will work. There is no need to get into this that whether it is wrong or right. Every answer is correct. Please respond, because these questions are very important for you to introspect and answer by yourself. And these questions are very much important. Factory automation and robotics both have to be a two-way process, because if it is not a two-way process, I am going to just uh, read the PPTs and show it to you. You are not going to get anything from that. You are not because these are the kind of questions that you are going to be asked, and these are traits that are not being taught while you are working theoretically or you are working in academies. These are the traits that are actually required in industries. What to do in case of machine failure? Yes, very good. Checking whether the output is defective or good. Yes, quality check. Any kind of change which would you would like to suggest? Yes. Factors that can impact the manufacturer. Yes. Yes. Okay. So let us look into the question that you asked, that how the process was working. What will do if some failure occurs? What are the safety parameters? How to improve the current efficiency? How will you optimize the cost of current process? What to do in case of machine failure? Checking whether the output is defective or good. Any kind of change which you would like to suggest. Factors that can impact the manufacturer. Okay. Let us answer these questions one by one. How the process was working. Okay, so if someone is going to ask you this question, that how the process was working, so what is the bold line into this? The bold line is how the process was working. Okay, so it is very important for you to gain the knowledge of process, and I completely understand that you will be going into a variety of industries where every process will be differentiated, every process will be different from one other another, but for that you need a skill to understand a process. Okay, how can you understand a particular process when you are a trainee there? Nobody is going to spoon feed you with that particular process, that how this process is. You have to work with the running process, and how you are going to learn about that particular process through manuals. Now manuals are made in a standard procedure. Every process, every each and every detail of a process, whether it is drawing, whether it is working principle, whether it is electrical diagram, whether it is sequential flow diagram, whether it is displacement diagram, there is a particular criteria for understanding a process. Okay, every manual in industry, now you can understand, although there are infinite, you can say n number of processes in n number of industries with a permutation of n square, but all n square parameters are going to merge into just one single document, that is called your manual, process manual. If you understand the process through process manual and you know how the process is working, then your answer is solved. Okay, now what will you do if some failure occurs? Yes, a very good question. Failure. Okay, how will you answer the questions related to failure? We will discuss this point in my PPT. I will show you how what kind of failure can occur. Yes, safety parameters. What are the safety parameters that you are going to take? How to improve the current efficiency? Yes, if you want to improve the current, if you know something that you can change the process by you can improve the efficiency, for that you need to alter the process. Okay, and you need to know what is the workflow of the process, how the process is working, how much time that a single process is taking, how the energy is going to flow through the process, how the material is going to go through the process, and how the information is going to flow through the process. Okay, you need to know these three parameters, then only you can improve the current efficiency by altering the relationship between them, or just by altering the one of the flow. All right, you understood? So it is very important for us to understand that whether it is uh, how the energy is flowing into the system, how the information is going to flow into the system, and how the material is flowing into the system. Okay, so we will get into this later. and we have separate session for this, but it is very important for you to ask these kind of questions and to relate that how you are going to get these answers. Okay, how will you optimize the cost? Again, you can optimize the cost by monitoring or altering these flow lines. What to do in case of machine failure, we will cover it just now. I will just show you an example. Checking whether the output is defective or good. Yes, quality check. For that, we will have a what is this called? Okay, just answer me the question. This question, checking whether the output is defective or good. This entire process is named into a single word. What is that word? Apart from quality check, what it is called? If you are checking, irrespective of industry, in general also, if you are checking whether the output is defective or good, or whether anything is acceptable or not, what is that procedure called? Any answer, please? Any kind of answer will be welcomed. Validation. Yes, thank you very much, Ritik. Very correctly said, validation. But review. Yes, Khushbu, very good. That can also be an answer. Few more answers, please. Feedback. Yes. Uh, okay. Uh, so I'm just writing a word on the chat box. Please look at this. And yes, Ankush, I was just about to write this only. Inspection. So see, all the answers are correct, but the most appropriate word would be inspection. Because in general, if you are checking, so if you are checking it, then you are not validating it. You are not saying that when you are validating you have already said that it is good or not. When you are reviewing it, you generally use the review word for a particular data. Okay, but and when you are giving a feedback, you are already giving a feedback, but that process is going to be called inspection. So you will have an inspection station where you will inspect it, that whether the workpiece is according to the norms or not. Okay, so yes, of course, any kind of change which you would like to suggest, this is again optimization and factor that can impact the manufacturing. Yes. So now let us move factors that can impact the manufacturer. Yes, again, the parameters that can change. When the factors will be dependent on, I am repeating it again, it will be energy flow, there will be a material flow, there will be a information flow. Okay. Now I'll just have a very quick review. Yeah. So very well said. What is the most common issue that you are going to deal as an engineer? Yes, you said that. Is the production continuous? And if it is not, if the failure had occurred, then why so? So your main key responsibility would be that since it is a continuous production line, since every production line is continuous, it is your responsibility to answer this question, that is your production continuous right now? And if it is not, if there is a breakdown, then what is the reason for that? And can you answer this question without any discomfort? The answer is, if you know how the system is integrated and related to each other, yes, you can answer it comfortably. And trust me, if you are a GET, if you are a AM, if you are a GM, even if you are a CEO, this is the only question that you need to answer most frequently. Whether it is a project, a new project, if you are installing a new line also, then that project should also be continuous. Okay, but if you know the process, if you know how the systems are integrated and related to each other, you are going to be very much comfortable. And if you can convey this kind of message, to your uh, HR people who are going to question you, and if you are able to convey that yes, I am capable to answer these kind of questions because I know that how a system is integrated, how a factory is automated, I know it, then definitely you are going to be prioritized irrespective of any domain. So now you can understand the scale to which your availability and your what we can say employability will improve with this course. Okay, so we have this kind of solution for you. This lab comprised of advanced modular manufacturing system, and it is just like a mini factory like setup. You asked about, we were talking about inspection. It has a dedicated inspection station, dedicated feeder station. Okay, let me use a pen. This is your dedicated feeder station. This is your dedicated inspection station. This is your buffer station. This is your process station, and this is your sorting station. Okay, now in our project also we need to make a factory automation system. You need to develop this factory automation system on your own, and you need to integrate it with robot. That robot we have in our robotics lab, you will learn how to teach that particular robot, but you have to make a factory automation system on your own by using a conveyor or something. We will help you in that. Okay, that how you are going to proceed with that, but you have to make it on your own. So it is very important for you to understand that how factory automation works. Okay, so this is just an example, or you can say demonstration of our mechatronics kit. The first station is, this is the first station, which is your feeder station. You can see this is a stack where now this is being fed to the inspection station. Okay, so accepted will go into the accepted chute, rejected will go in the rejected chute. Now this is your buffer station. Buffer station, you will just know that why uh, buffer station is used. In the next video, you are going to understand the relevance of buffer station. This is your process station, which is replicating a drilling process. Okay, and this is a rotary indexing table. Again, you can see this is a kind of robotic arm only, but this is pneumatically controlled. And this is your sorting station. Now you can see this is a sorting station. There is an inductive sensor which is going to sense the metallic part. There is a color sensor. You can also color code it accordingly. This time we have coded it with blue color, that you can also code it with any color you want. Okay, so this is a color sensor, and the last chute is for wooden sense workpiece. Okay, so this is being sorted according to the type of product. This was your inspection station that you were talking about. Okay, this was your inspection station where you can see that the height is calculated. Okay, and this one was your robotic arm. Not robotic arm, it is pneumatic arm. If you first you have to understand how a pneumatic arm works, how a single system, it takes an information from a single system. Your robot will work like this only. Okay, your robot is going to pick from some place and put it into some another place. The only thing that you are going to play with is degree of freedom and teaching. Okay, it has a single degree of freedom, you can say, and it can have multiple degree of freedom. That is the only case, but here you have only single degree of freedom in pneumatic arm, but a similar sort of structure it is going to be, but it is integrated to factory automation only. It is important for you to understand that it has been integrated to factory automation. If you understand that how this particular pneumatic arm is integrated, then you know that how a robotic arm is going to be integrated. Then the only question is that how you are going to teach that particular point. Okay, so just tell me, was the demonstration easy or not? Was the demonstration easy or not? That only the demonstration. I'm saying that the video that I was showing, was that easy or not? Please, I need answers for that. Yes, it was easy. There was nothing tough in that. Yes, it was very easy. That yes, a bottle cap was there. It has just feed it to a single station. It has just provided it to the inspection station. There was an inspection. According to it, it provided it to the buffer station. Then from buffer station, it went to process station. Then from process station, it is going to get into the what we say sorting station. That was easy. Yes. Now just have a very deep look into the another video and kindly focus on that video because I'm going to ask questions from that video. This is the similar video. Again, fed to inspection. It will go to the buffer station. Meanwhile, in the forward session, there is a process station. And process station is not working. Now you are trapped in this situation. You are the in charge of, say you are the manager of this production line. Your buffer zone is going to get stacked in a very few short span of time, and your process station is not working. And you can see the stack of workpiece in the buffer zone is increasing, and after a particular time you are going to have a breakdown. Why? Because buffer station has a single capacity, a particular capacity, and your process station is not working. So you understood the process. Now you need to answer this question. What was the reason for the failure and what will you do now? You understood the process. It was very easy. You know the problem that your process station was not working. What might be the reason that the process is not working and what you have to do now? Answer any question. Please, if you just even if it is a fluke, I need answers, and it is very important for me to get answers from your side. Please respond. Ritik, Hitendra, Adarsh, Hitesh, Alok, Kalpana, Banu, Sachin, Muskan. Please respond. Answers. I need some answers from your side. What will you do? Just suppose yourself to be in that position that you are in a, again I am repeating the process. There was a feeder station, after that there was an inspection station, after that there was a buffer station, then there was a process station which was replicating, and then after there was a sorting station, and process station was stopped. What might be the reason for you to what might be the reason? Any reason, please answer. Hitender? Yeah. Rotary motion of production line has some fault due to some technical issue in process station. And more answers, please, class. Okay. Hitender, write your answer. Hitender, write your answer. Adarsh, write your answer. I need answer for this question. At least 50% answers I need. At least from 10 students. Answer this question. I am again repeating the question. Due to overuse of machine, energy problem may be. Yeah, Adarsh, you have written. Thank you. Sorry, I repeated your name. Color selection process, some fault in motor, some technical issue in process station, electrical connection may be loose, technical issues due to some electricity connection problem, or maybe any sensor problem. Color sensor problem. See, apart from a very general answer, this was the main reason. Very general answer is technical issue. But are you supposed to answer this question when you are asked that why the system? It was a technical issue. Do you think that this answer will work? No, I don't think so. Apart from that technical issue, yeah, lack of hard skill and soft skill. Yes. Apart from, yeah, now you have put your shoes into the shoes of an assistant manager or a manager of a production line. Okay, and you need to answer this particular question. Now you can see the number of people. If I think apart from the general answers, if there are n number of people, there are n number of reasons for that. Okay, and that is a very simple. You were saying that it is a very simple process. That what really is happening there, that there is just a cap. Okay, there is a stack magazine, it is moving in a single flow direction. It is a very simple process, I can understand it. But when you ask for the particular reasons, there are n number of reasons, and there are multiple number of reasons. Now what you have to do is that you need to have a certain kind of approach of understanding, and when you move through that particular kind of approach, then you can troubleshoot it also, then you can maintain it also, and then you can also run the continuous line in a production line. And all production lines are continuous. Okay, even if you understand robotics, how the code of the robotics is working, you will be a very good GET. Okay, at engineer level you are going to work for robotics, but when you will come to assistant manager level, to GM level, then the kind of attribute that you are going to have is that how that robot is integrated to a process line. And if you don't know about process line, you only know about robotics, then you can understand that what kind of career path you will be stuck in. So this is very important, that how the system is being integrated to any of the component, whether it is motor, whether it is you can say motor or robot, or you can say a hydraulic line. Okay, I'm just giving you an example of from my industry only. What happened was that there was a bearing fault in a single roll. So in my industry, what I was a maintenance engineer there, and we used to roll PET films. You know PET films, right? Which is polymer films. So we had a super clean polymer line, the facility at Ras Al Khaimah, UAE, and there what we had a single line, and there were 5 ton of rolls that were manufactured within a span of 38 minutes. Okay, so, and that costed us a lot, and the entire process was in crores. So you can see that even a single minute of breakdown was resulting in lakhs. Okay, so this was the scale that you have to deal with, and there was a single bearing failure in rolls. Okay, so if you don't know about the process, then how you can say that how it was a failure, but we don't know that it is a bearing failure or what? Because what was happening was, because of the bearing failure, just understand the process, that how that process is integrated and related to everyone. This is just for you to know that how it is related to everyone. Because there was a bearing failure. Okay, because there was a bearing failure, there was fluctuation in roll. The roll was inducing more vibrations than regular vibrations that were optimum. Okay, because of vibration, the sheet of the polymer was getting wrinkles. Okay, because of the wrinkles, the thickness sensor was not giving accurate data. Because thickness sensor was not giving the accurate data, the entire thickness of the roll was hampered. Okay, now when the entire thickness of the roll was hampered, the outcome that we saw was that the entire thickness of the roll was hampered. Okay, but what might be the probable reason? How we get to that particular answer? Okay, why it is showing that it is hampered? Because the sensor that was detecting is not detecting. Then is the sensor working properly? I will check it first. Okay, if the sensor is working properly, then there is a process fault. Why it is a fault? Then we will check that whether there are wrinkles or not. When there are wrinkles, because those wrinkles are moving in such a speed that you can't see that in a real span of time. Okay, now there is a wrinkle, that means that there is a vibration issue. When there is a vibration issue, then you need to cap at which point there is a vibration issue, and that will be done by a particular sensor, and that sensor will be the work of an electronic engineer. So the entire team has to work into troubleshooting. So it is very important. If any one of you is very much uh, proficient about the entire process, then you can understand that what would be the scale of your usage in a particular industry. Okay, similarly in this example, the video that I had shown you, you can understand this, that you have given different kind of answers, but you have not given a approach to the solution. Okay, so there might be a technical issue, there might be, the only reason was that I had just pushed the button of process station, the, you can say, NC contact or the emergency button, that I had just pushed off. But I need to go through each and every process. Your mind would have gone that, oh, the what we say, the rotary index table has been jammed, that is why it is not working. No, it was not like that. There are initial conditions to start a particular process. There are some conditions that if these conditions prevail, then only a process can be started. Okay, then only you are going to get the process in a running condition. There are some conditions, you can say, for each and every step of the process. For example, if you are getting your rotary arm is moving to 180-degree, then it has to go through particular constraints or initial conditions. If it is following that condition, if it is following that sequence, then that sequence is going to be followed. Okay, so for that it is very much important for you to get aligned to the factory automation and aligned to the fact that how these factory automations procedures are taking place. Okay, understood? Are you aligned to it? Please confirm yes or no on the chat box, because it is very important for me to make you understand that what is the scale of this. You have, it is very important for you to getting in, aligned into it. If I will just show you this particular station only, okay, that how it works and this and that, then you are not going to get those answers that are really asked in industries. In industries, this kind of question is going to be asked, that when the line was working, that happened to me right now also. There was a what we say, visit this time in mechatronics lab only, and I had to deal with it because there was going to be a visit of DRDO people at mechatronics lab here for some issue, for some project topics. But when they came here, there was an issue in the mechatronics kit. And what was the issue? That the one of the sensor was not at its position, at its correct position, it was not sensing. So I have to get those answers. I have to get those answers in a very short span of time. So I have to make the solutions in a span of 10 minutes only, since it is a short kit, but you can understand the weightage of the problem, that when you need to find a solution for this particular kind of problem in very few minutes, because even a delay of few minutes in industries can cost you lakhs or even crores. Okay, so that breakdown time goes into account of every individual, whether you are from electronics, whether you are from so that will go to the entire team. And until and unless you are not going to work as a team, and for working into a team, you need to convey an environment of a full stack engineer who knows how a system is integrated. That's it. There is no need to have a very deep knowledge of each and every component, but a brief knowledge of how a process is working and how you can extract any information from a process is important, and it is very important for you. It is very important for you to learn at this stage of time, because once you will go into industries, you are not going to get answers to them. Only a good experience and good methodology and a good mentor can uh, ask you these kind of questions, and you are going to get the answers of these kind of questions. Okay, and you will also don't have this time, whether you are that how the system is integrated, because every machine is running and availability of that machine is not going to work. Okay, so it is very important. Okay, so now I think you are aligned to this particular session, that how mechatronics, or you can say how it is important, and what kind of situation you are going to fall in when you are going to be into the when you are going to be in the uh, industry environment, irrespective of field, whether you go to manufacturing sector, even in now biomechanics sector also. If you are going to work in biomechanics sector also, there are introduction to factory automation there also. Okay, so this was the brief about the induction program. So you know now that how it is important to continue with the the mechatronics, or you can say the complete integration of a system. It is very important. Am I presenting? Is my screen visible? I think the screen is visible, right? Yes, it is visible. Okay. Okay. So, introduction to mechatronics. Now, you know that what is mechatronics? It is an integration of core engineering, control engineering, computer engineering, which includes computer, material processing, automotive, manufacturing, consumer products, mechanical system, automotive, xerography, electronic system. Do you have any doubt in this? Because I have a doubt. What is xerography? Can anyone tell me and unmute his mic and answer this question? What is xerography? Am I audible? ऐसा तो नहीं है मैं बोला जा रहा हूँ आप लोग. Hello, am I audible? Yes. Okay, Adarsh, thank you. What is xerography? Xerox process, photocopying technique. Yes, very good. Thank you. So this is a Xerox process, or you can say photocopying technology. So how xerography is connected to mechatronics? Again, there is scanning procedure, there is a sensor which senses, okay, and there is an actuator, there are motors. Every kind of application is related to mechatronics. Okay, now we have already gone through this particular what we say in a video, that how industries have transformed from industry 1, where there was steam power, which was a shift from manual to mechanical production, then about the founding of Siemens, about electricity induction. So you can see that between Industry 1 and Industry 2, Siemens was founded by other founded members, and our first PLC was introduced between session 1 and session 2. Important thing for you to understand is that although PLC was integrated, but electricity in the introduction on industries 2.0 was prevailing, and industry 3.0 took time. But this transformation from industry 2 to industry 3 required the knowledge of not only control system, it required the knowledge of electricity introduction, it required the knowledge of basic mechanical system. So at the stage of industry 2, at the stage of transformation from industry 1 to industry 2 or industry 2 to industry 3, the skill set of industry 2 was very important. When you were transforming from industry 2 to industry 3, the skill set of industry 2 was very important. Now we are in the phase of industry 3 to industry 4. So in this particular set, the skill set of industry 3 is important. Am I correct or not? Okay, so it is very important for you to understand the skill sets of industry 3 at your earlier career stage, so that you can be compatible with cyber physical system. Once you understand that how a data has been collected into PLC, how a mechanical process, and these are all the latest processes, are connected with each other, related to each other, and controlled through a PLC, then the only work that will be left is to connect a PLC to a station. At this point of time, you have wire connections, then you will have Wi-Fi connection. Here you have protocols of Profinet, Modbus, etc. Now you will have protocols of cloud computing, or you can say the protocols of IoT. Okay, here you have a dedicated, you can say, slots for wire. Here you will have a dedicated cloud for that. Okay, so you know what cloud is, how you maintain a particular cloud. So you have cloud based systems related to, can you answer me this question? What is cloud and how it is useful? Where have you seen where you have used the cloud? Servers. Okay. 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 Yes, server. It is see. Yes, data storing and retrieving by servers. Yes, a very specific answer. I'm going to give you a very layman type of answer for that. You have data, and now your data is money. Okay. Earlier we used to keep our money in banks. Okay. Why we used to keep it in banks? Because we need a secure place where we can keep our money. Okay. And we need such kind of facility that when we want to put money in bank, we can put it, and we want to withdraw the money from the bank, we will withdraw it. On the similar kind of notion, we have cloud. A cloud is you can say secured data storage server, or you can say space where you can store your data and which is secured. Okay, now security is also a very important measure. Okay, so when you are talking about our IoT or something else, so you can say that your Google Drive is also a cloud. Am I correct or not? Is your Google Drive a cloud based system or not? Yes, yes. Your Google Drive is a cloud-based system. Okay. So again, but industry can't put its data into cloud. Okay, because that is a very important data. Okay, and they need a very robust and a very secure manner. Okay, so that is very important, that they need a very secured system. So now, and these PLCs are integrated to a IoT Mind Connect. Okay, if you are interested, I'm just writing it. Oh, sorry, it's Mind Connect. Okay, IoT Mind Connect, which is related to Siemens, it gives, what it does is that it pushes your data, it takes your data from the PLC and it transfer it to the cloud. Okay, and they have a dedicated system for cloud management. Siemens have a dedicated uh, system of collecting that data through Mind Connect. Okay, and where they analyze the data through AI algorithms, through machine learning algorithms. Okay, do you know what is AI and what is machine learning? What is AI, ML, data science? What is the difference? What is AI? I need answers from most of you. What is AI? Artificial intelligence. Yes. What is ML? Machine learning. Okay. 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 I know we all are fascinated with these words which are AI, machine learning, but what they are doing is they are doing it for a particular set of data. Even industry requires few people who are just a little bit knowing about artificial intelligence and machine learning, but that requires a set of data. Okay, if you are a data analysis, you need a set of data. Now you can understand that if you are an engineer at a shop floor, you know what a data is. Okay, you just need to, and these skills are not very much you can say that that can't be integrated to a system or something else. When you will go into a particular industry, by a period of time you are going to touch these topics also, but for that it is very important that you should know that how that data has been collected, where the data has been generated. Okay, because if you are only learning about artificial intelligence or machine learning, or you can say data science, what data science is doing is it just wrangle data. Okay, it use statistics or statistical method to generate a particular outcome from data. You know what is data wrangling? I'm just writing it in the chat box. Data wrangling. Do you know what is data wrangling? I will take a very short session for this also. That what is artificial intelligence, machine learning. Yeah. So when you work for data, then there is a thing that you say that every data is in the raw form. Okay. So every coal has to be converted into diamond. So your data, your raw data is coal, and you need to convert into diamond. So what you need to do, there will be many data. For example, you need to convey some information, raw data into appropriate form. How you convert it? So for example, you want to have a list of particular students, half of them have not filled it, or not half of them, say 20% of them have not filled it. There are various parameters that have not been filled. What you will do in that particular condition, that is a technique called data wrangling. Okay, then you convert that raw data into appropriate format. Yes, very correct, Nayan Arora. Data wrangling is that process where you convert. uh, just can you give me 5 minutes? I have a very essential call to attend. Okay, just 5 minutes. Okay. Sorry guys, there was a urgent call for me to attend. Okay, so shall I continue? Where were we? About data wrangling. Okay, so you see that data science is to extract information from a single data. Machine learning is also somewhat related to data science only, but machine learning is something that you get to know about the data in various different forms also. Okay, and artificial intelligence, you can say, is a bigger section, or you can say that machine learning and data science are subsets of artificial intelligence. Okay, so until and unless you don't know factory automation or the basics regarding to it, okay, so you can say that this particular factory automation course is going to be the stepping stone in your career, where you will understand the basic amenities of factory automation, where it will be going to get integrated into higher technologies such as, you can say, IoT or machine learning or AI or ML. Okay, now if you are very much compatible with this kind of technology of factory automation, then you are easily going to handle all these concepts of machine learning, data wrangling. I will just touch a very brief part into of machine learning and data wrangling or data science specifically, that what introductory part, that how they do it, how they work for it. Okay, just an introduction of that I will cover. Okay, and why I'm telling you this is that it is very important for you to understand that factory automation is going to foster all these technologies, all these new technologies, and it is very important for at this career stage for you to understand it. Okay, so now let us just look at the video I am presenting. Yes.
A self-organizing factory that entirely configures and organizes itself and responds to changing requirements, and where humans and machines seamlessly collaborate. This vision is becoming a reality in the Siemens Living Lab for cyber-physical production systems.
Alexa, trigger product logo echo.
And we can produce it.
The manufacturing of a product starts in virtual reality with the help of simulation technology. The cyber-physical production system first checks whether the production is feasible. The machines in the factory provide detailed information about their production skills and constraints. Based on this information, the system generates a digital twin of the product and compares the required production steps with the production skills of all machines humans in the factory. The machine gets the knowledge of how the product shall be made from the digital twin, based on the information about how the parts are to be assembled. The system dynamically calculates all necessary steps and carries out the production autonomously. This means that the product steers its own production. This is an important feature of Industry 4.0 solutions. Siemens enhances the skills of the machines through machine learning, intelligent sensors, and speech recognition. This optimizes the production process and increases the quality of the product. Safety requirements are also developed to ensure that people and machines can work together safely. In the future, cyber-physical production systems will better meet customer needs and manufacture products in a faster, more individualized, and more efficient manner.
Siemens, ingenuity for life.
So now you can see that cyber physical systems or introduction of digitization of factory automated industries is now going to be the big deal in Industry 4. And now there is a stage of transformation from Industry 3 to Industry 4, And it is very important for us to understand industry 3, and it is going to be a stepping stone, and when you go further and further, you are going to learn about it. Okay, so until and unless you are not compatible with industry 3, you are not going to deal with very easily with industry 4. So it is very important for you to have a foundation of industry 4 in the form of industry 3 skills. Now you can see that cyber physical system, it is defined by both physical and cyber components. Okay, so it contains your where you can see here, it was connected through LAN. It was connected through LAN, but now it is connected to internet. The video that we have seen yesterday, where they were saying that we are trying to push our internet closer and closer to the shop floor. Okay, so if you have shop floor competency, then again you are very much comfortable with industry 4, and you will be able to interact with industry 4 concepts. Okay, so again it is defined by both physical and cyber components. Embedded software user network which will control the real world process. Again, there will be a real world process. Okay, it will be only controlled by embedded softwares, and it will be there is going to be a sensor there, there is going to be a actuator there is going to be a real world process there. Process is always going to be there. Process has been always there since the induction of industry 1.0. Okay, process is going to be there. You need to understand how process is integrated, how it has been, how we have shifted from industry 1 to industry 3, how each and everything is interrelated. That is going to be there, and that is very important